Gotta do it again. Does the cat count?
So, my grandmother was born in 1934. So she was 8 on December 7th, 1941. And if you don't know, that is, of course, the day that Japan attacked Pearl Harbor. She says that she remembers the President Roosevelt's speech coming in on what was then known as the wireless. We would call it a radio. She says that for her, she didn't really think anything of it too much because they lived on a mountaintop in Idaho. And there was nothing anywhere near her, really. Her nearest neighbors were several miles away. She lived on a farm, and her parents were much more concerned about this than she was. She tended to like to get out of doing her chores by going to the outhouse and taking a book with her and reading the book in the outhouse, so that her mom couldn't find her until somebody needed to use the outhouse. And she didn't understand why the Japanese would want to bomb this desolate hill in the middle of Idaho, but she was remembering that they had to take all the precautions that everybody had to take during that time, which was they had to put the blackout curtains up. They couldn't have any light showing after dark. They had curfew. They had rationing books, and she is the middle child of 9, and so her mother had to figure out how to ration the rations, if you will, because they only could get our ration coupons for 7. So her mother said that the kids couldn't get new shoes until the shoes were completely disintegrated. So my grandmother remembers that the boys had shoes that were just flopping all over the place. And of course, rubber was rationed during the war. And sugar was rationed during the war. And she just remembered that things were very chaotic. But because she's the eldest girl, she was also having to help take care of the younger kids, while her 2 eldest brothers actually joined the Navy and the Army, and went off and fought in the war. And then one of her other brothers ended up joining up towards the end of the war, and also went overseas. And she says that for her, it was just kind of a strange time. She doesn't remember too much about life changing terribly, other than the blackout windows and her wondering why anyone would want to bomb her little desolate area of the world. But for her, she says her parents were much more concerned about things than she was. But of course, her being 8 years old, that probably had something to do with that. So